Hey everybody, I am back. It's Aja McClanahan talking about all things related to, like principles of increase. So I like to explore every area in life where you can bring increase. So that can be relationships, finances, so on and so forth, even health. But today I'm talking about money again because that's how I started my channel. So for those of you who have been tracking with me for a long time, you know that my claim to fame was paid off all this debt, over $120,000 worth of debt. And the other claim to fame was that I moved to the hood to do it. And so I'm very thankful to have that story. However, again, those who've been following maybe a few videos ago, you saw that I recently went through divorce. So I had to start over. I chose not to take the bulk of what was owed to me from the 17-year union. And even though I was a stay-at-home mom, basically housewife, I decided I didn't want to take the pension, the 401k, real marital home, all that stuff. I just was like, let me just release that. And that will be a video to explain that, because some people are like, why? But anyway, that doesn't matter. I'm in the situation that I'm in now because I had to get housing for me and my kids. I have my kids all the time, full time. And I also had to make a plan to be able to sustain myself during years where I won't be working. So I guess that's retirement, although I don't foresee that I'll ever be retired, because there's a lot of things that I like to do and that could be income producing. But the point is just getting my living situation together, getting investment properties and investing, all that stuff kind of jumbled together, and just recovering from, I hate to use this because I feel like it's so overused, trauma. And again, maybe one day I'll talk about the details, but for now, I just know that I'm in a place, and I have been in a place where I had to heal from a lot of situations that were kind of sprung on me. So I've been doing some pivoting, some kind of movement, and as a result, I consciously chose to go back into debt. So first time around, when we dumped over $120,000 worth of debt, we were living on one income. I was married at the time, and we used Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, which the long and short of that system is getting an emergency fund in place, cutting expenses, increasing income until you can meet your spending plan, aka your budget. I definitely recommend that system because it worked for us. So I'll put a link below to that book so you can check it out and join some of them, millions of people who have used Dave Ramsey to get out of debt. So will I be using that system again? Yes and no. So I do plan to create a budget. I do plan to cut expenses, increase my income to meet my budget, stop using debt. And so that is definitely part of my plan. But the way that I'll do it this time, and I also mentioned that in the last video, is that I'm also going to make room for God's grace. So what is God's grace? That doesn't mean you sit around in your butt and you do nothing. But I also realize that part of this journey, it can be discouraging. And I've had times where I'm working and it doesn't seem like there's anything that I can do to move the needle. And then God's hand moves in a situation and he provides an opportunity that I would have never anticipated or known to make, known how to make that happen for myself. And if you look in the Bible, there are so many examples of people who were just, I'll call it trudging along, because sometimes it can be that just day in and day out labor where it seems like nothing is happening, but God is always working behind the scenes. So I look at the Bible, people like Joseph, Esther, Ruth, Moses, Laban, where their situations changed overnight. Now, again, I want to also make sure that I highlight these people were also walking in godly character. They were refining their character. They were working on their patience. They were working on their faith. So, and it looked like nothing was happening. And then one day, boom. So my goal this time around is to account for God's grace when it looks impossible. When I see something, I'm like, there's no way I can make that bill by this time or make this happen, this income come in by this time. I will totally be building my faith to know that a move of God can, make up the gap wherever I fall short. So what am I doing? I'm doing microbaby steps. So for me, that just means auditing. I'm starting with auditing my expenses. So I'm going through looking for those sneaky subscriptions, things that I can just turn off. I actually misplaced a credit card, haven't been able to find it. And I'm so thankful because I haven't used it in weeks and weeks and weeks. So I think I'm going to definitely keep it off or keep it that way and not use it. I just think, again, that is God's grace. I didn't know that would happen, but it just worked out. I've been so busy, haven't been able to replace it. And I realized, like, I actually don't need to do this. I can just lay it to the side, not request it again, and depend on cash. So that's my plan. So I'm auditing expenses. I'm looking where I can save money and use cash. And then I will start to remove some. I'll go to the business side. I have some business things that are just kind of like on auto renew and they're just racking up, and also work on my business to bring in more income. So that's like my micro baby step. That's about what I can do now. So I hope before the end of the year, my goal is to have a really solid budget in place. And again, my micro baby step right now, my budget will probably be in place for the majors like gas, food, and entertainment. Everything else, I'll just kind of have to work around. But so that's kind of like my plan. It's not super structured at this point because I'm easing into it and I'm giving myself grace, but I don't want to use grace as an excuse to slack off. So I imagine that once I start this process, I'll start accelerating, and it's already happened. Just the fact that just the act of writing down my expenses has already started the acceleration, and I'm doing more things to get me closer to that goal of paying down debt. So that's kind of where I am. I hope to report back and give you some good news very soon about some progress that I am making. So I really thank you again for watching, for supporting, for tracking along with me. And I want you to share too. If you're on the same journey, like post some comments below. Let me know like what you're working on, where your challenges and struggles are, and let the community weigh in and we can help one another out. So thanks again for watching, and hope to see you soon.